I rewatched Apollo 13. I think I said that at the beginning, but I put that on.
Oh, Apollo 13.
Yeah, somewhat recently.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
That's great. Tom Hanks is great in that.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones too where they really talk about things that are like earlier where we're like, oh, that was realistic and they did it right. That was one where they stayed towards the realism, and I liked it. Because it is kind of a documentary in a sense. It's like that mockumentary feel where you're like watching through the whole thing. And
it is, because I watched it as a kid, and you're like, oh, it's a story about a space flight going wrong, and then they can't go to the moon. That's sad.
Yeah.
But it is, it's better that happened.
Totally.
The actual story is so much more impressive than going to the moon.
Yeah, and it does leave
building
you...
a junkyard spaceship,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it does leave you at that feeling in a movie. You're like, damn, like that's what me makes a good movie, is when like you feel like it's gonna go one direction and then it doesn't. You're like, oh, that's fucking great. Like that's like, you want them to land on the moon, even if you know the story or don't. You're like, oh, they'll figure it out. They'll get there. Maybe they'll die on the moon, but they'll at least get to touch them. And then he doesn't, and he just has to live with the orbit and going back around. I do like that in a movie where it doesn't just. And I think that's why I don't fuck with the Marvel movies as much, is it just feels so cookie cutter that like even when it's against all odds, it's blah 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 blah, the good guys win, eventually, even if it takes 2 movies, eventually the good guys win. Where I think some of the best movies is the good guys don't win, like you look at that the Rogue One Star Wars movie, it's like shit like that.
The Rogue One was that one in between?
That was the one in between.
That is the only Star Wars movie I like.
Yeah, exactly, because it ends with everybody fucking
dying.
Dies. Everyone dies, and they accomplish their mission, but you don't get to have that he gets the girl moment. Like
I've said that before. That's the only Star Wars movie that I'm actually like, oh yeah, this is.
Yeah, it's great. And they
cool.
came out with this. I think the Andor series is similar to that as far as like they fuck around a little bit more. But
now they've like I have no idea what's going on with it. I haven't paid attention at all. But like the Star Wars IP, they call it.
Yeah,
it's so stupid to begin with.
Totally.
That there's no way it is not absolutely fucking retarded. Whatever they're doing has got to be terrible.
It gets real. It's like every other show they put out is unwatchable, silly, like a 11-year-old girl is outrunning 3 grown men through the forest, shit like that, where you're just like, man.
Well, coming up with aliens has got to be like the laziest creative work you can do.
Yeah.
Coming up, especially because anything prior to 1980, it was just like, okay, well, he's not Chinese, but he's Chinese.
Yeah, this one's clearly
Jewish.
Yeah, these are clearly the black guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Star Wars didn't have black guys though.
Not until the new era.
What are the black aliens?
Well, no, they had black guys.
In fact, the only science fiction,
Lando.
But he's a black man.
Yeah, he's a black guy.
Yeah, the only science fiction I can point at where there is a racial stereotype of an African American that's like supposed to be an alien is the Transformers movies.
Oh, okay.
There was like the two like Doo-Doo and Mudflap.
Yeah,
there were like these two like
clearly.
Their names were like Skidmark and Kaka, and they had gold teeth and monkey ears, and the teeth would like hang loose. And they'd be like, "Damn, Bubba B, where'd you get them wheels?" And I was shocked.
Yeah, and it just
because the movie came out in like 2007.
Right.
And I was like, "We're about to have a black president."
Yeah, they were trying to squeeze one in before.
This is from like the 1940s.
Yeah, that's fun. But I think with stuff like Transformers and Star Wars, they'd have so many rules to follow when you're making a new one that you kind of have to, like, those guys were probably characters in some comic book or whatever.
People are watching this and they're saying, Jar Jar, what about Jar Jar? Jar Jar is Caribbean.
Jar Jar is clearly Caribbean.
He's not an African.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Right.
Like that, yeah.
He's not. I know the Misa makes it a little bit kind of a slave thing, but he's supposed to be Caribbean.
Yeah, he's a water. They live underwater.
He lives underwater. He's got the style of like a Jamaican guy.
Yeah.
You know,
the floppy ears may as well be some dreads tied together in the back. Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. They really don't have any.
No, I don't think so. Not as far as you'd be like, oh, that's definitely the fucking like, what are they doing here?
In the way that like Lando's co-pilot might be the worst of all of them.
Yeah.
That like the Vietnamese fish guy.
It's pretty tough, dude. It's a trap.
And that's the guy you take with you to blow up the Death Star.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Han's like, take my ship, but take care of her. He's like, oh, no problem. I'll find the most Chinese pilot I can.
Yeah, let's get incognito
Yeah,
with this
right.
Chinese fish head pilot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's all he says. the whole
We
time.
are having a problem.
Okay.
It's like, this guy's not Japanese.
Yeah,
you telling
right.
me?
Yeah.
He's made a sushi. This guy's not
Mhm,
Japanese.
mhm.